So guys, boom, you watching this video, I'm sure you have seen so many headlines of people saying that this man Bryce James, he's the chosen one. He's already better than this man Bronny James. He's going to be the best player and best son out of the James family. He's already a better shooter than LeBron himself. Bryce James, he's on magazines with his dad, with Bronny. How is he already 6'6"? The potential for this kid is crazy. Guys, there's so many things that people say about this man Bryce James, but for some reason, as of late, I feel like a lot of people are kind of starting to realize the type of player that this man Bryce James really is, and people are actually starting to take back a lot of the things that they were saying about Bryce James. If you guys don't know, this man Bryce James, he actually played in his very first preseason game for Sierra Canyon a few days ago, and one specific thing had a lot of people questioning what exactly is going on with Bryce James. Bryce James is currently a sophomore in high school, and he recently just finished his summer AAU circuit, and he also recently finished his freshman season at Sierra Canyon. Bryce James was also playing on the JV level whenever he was a freshman, and occasionally during the AAU summer circuit, sometimes he would play 16U, sometimes he would play 15U. But heading into his sophomore year, everybody was excited. People were saying that it's cool he was playing JV, he was a freshman, this and that, give him some time. But people were excited the fact that he was finally going to be playing on that varsity level. But fast forward to today, for some specific reason, Bryce James, we saw him actually playing on the junior varsity level to start off his sophomore year. And like I said, this has people questioning, why is this man Bryce James still on varsity? A lot of people were surprised, but I feel like people need to pump the brakes, take a step back for 2 seconds, and evaluate this entire situation with Bryce James. Instead of really sitting down and thinking about why is he playing JV, I feel like people need to really take a step back and really ask themselves, should Bryce James really be playing varsity? Is he even good enough to play on that varsity level? Now, me personally, I've been saying this since day one. I've been saying I don't care about him being 6'6". I don't care about if he's LeBron's son. I don't care about this and that, what people are saying. I look at Bryce James, look at Bronny, I look at pretty much every single one of these players as the person and the player as they are. And Bryce James, to me, I've always said he's not better than Bronny James. It's not even close. He's not better than LeBron James. He's not the best shooter. I get it. Trust me, social media can really do a lot to a player. But if you really take a look at the type of player that Bryce James is, yes, there's a lot of potential, but currently in his state of the type of player that he is now, he is nowhere near as good as Bronny James even was whenever he was 15, whenever he was 16, whenever he was a freshman, whenever he was a sophomore. Bronny James as a freshman and as a sophomore was actually getting some pretty significant minutes on Sierra Canyon, and he was actually playing behind a lot of players that are actually in the NBA currently right now. But if you were to take a look at the Sierra Canyon roster now, there's only a few players, if that actually has a chance to actually play in the NBA last year and even currently. A lot of people would only argue that Amari Bailey is probably the only player that has potential to play in the NBA. So the fact that Bryce James as a freshman and even as a sophomore currently is still not even good enough to play on that varsity level, and if the coach is not trusting him to even put him on that varsity team, it really should say a lot about Bryce James. Guys, I really want to premise the fact that it's absolutely normal to play junior varsity as a sophomore. I'm sure you watching this video, if you're in high school or if you were in high school, you know people that was playing junior varsity until they were juniors, and then whenever they turn seniors, of course it's mandatory that they have to play at that senior level. So I really want you guys to understand that it's completely normal for a player to play junior varsity as a sophomore. That's why I'm not going crazy. Why is he on JV? That's why I'm not saying that, because like I said, I look at these players as the person, as the players that they are, and I've been saying Bryce is not ready to play at that varsity level. It's no disrespect or anything, I'm just being real. Bryce is not ready to play at varsity. I think he honestly should play at the junior varsity, polish up his skills, stay in the gym, learn how to play in a system, learn to dominate at a level like this. Let him get more reps, let him get more comfortable with his body, let him learn his shooting stroke, this and that. and then move him up to the varsity level. I feel like a lot of people would probably attack me or say I'm wrong or this, but guys, that's just the truth and the fact of the matter, that Bryce is not ready to play at varsity, and he's the type of player and that type of person that you kind of have to work with. Give him some time, let him adjust, and eventually he can play at that varsity level. Guys, it's just very concerning, and it's just not a good look if people are comparing you to LeBron James, if people are saying that you're better than Bronny James. Yes, if that's the type of person that we're actually judging Bryce James to be, then yes, it's probably not a good idea that he's on, and it's probably concerning that he's still on the JV level. But like I said, a lot of people do not look at Bryce James as that type of player. I'm trying to tell you guys, I've been saying this since day one. Social media and people on the internet and this and that, they honestly set a lot of these people up to fail. And I've been trying to tell people to pump the brakes on this man Bryce James, because in a retrospect, he hasn't really shown much, or he hasn't really proved much for you to just sit here and say that he has a chance to play in the NBA. I'm telling you, since the day that I first seen, a lot of people were saying that he was better than Bronny James just because he grew a couple inches. Guys, I'm telling you, it's honestly crazy, and it honestly makes me even more mad with the fact that a lot of these scouts and a lot of people on ESPN and all these sport networks, they're also agreeing with the internet, saying that, oh, Bryce is the chosen one. He's gonna be the best out the James family. He's better than Bronny already. He's 6'6". You take like a lot of these guys have not even watched this man Bryce James, and is already claiming this. And that's what I'm saying. People set up certain players to fail, and it's honestly unfortunate. And I honestly feel bad for a guy like Bryce James, just because if he doesn't pan out as the type of player that we all think he can be, then I promise you, I guarantee you, stamp this right now, people are going to be switching up on him like how they're currently doing now, saying, oh, he's not ready. He's not the type of player that people were saying. I'm telling you, a lot of people are going to start switching up, and I'm just sitting here just watching this all blossom as it's happening. And like I said, I want to be wrong, but currently so far everything I'm saying is straight facts, and people really need to pump the brakes on saying that Bryce James is this, because it's honestly putting unneeded pressure, when instead you can actually look at Bryce James in the lens that I'm looking at him, as a type of player who loves the game of basketball, that is just taking his time and developing and just having fun with this whole process. I'm not putting unneeded expectations on Bryce. I'm not saying he's going to the NBA. I'm not going to say all this set in stone like how people are saying. I'm just watching him play, and I'm wishing the best for this man Bryce James, because I honestly want him to succeed, especially if this is exactly what he wants to do. And if he does want to be in the NBA at some point, if he does want to be the type of player that we all think he can be, he's gonna have to improve in a lot of areas on the floor, and he's gonna have to just get real with himself and just realize, yes, I'm not good enough right now, but eventually I can get there if I'm staying in the gym, if I'm putting in the work, if I'm putting myself in the right positions, then eventually he can get there. And I definitely feel like he can, because I'm a huge fan of the James family, and I want every single player that I talk about to succeed. If you take a look at some of the comments that people are saying after his first game, shout out to who is that? He said, I don't know, man, this whole Bryce is going to be the one. Bryce is going to be better than Bronny thing has to stop. Like, I understand everybody's happy because he grew some height, but at some point we have to wake up in reality. It's going to take some time. I would probably say senior year till we can actually say that this kid is legit. Guys, I've been trying to tell people the exact same thing, but it's crazy. 5-6 months ago, nobody was even saying this, and it's just crazy that people are realizing this or even saying this after his first preseason game. Shout out to Raga Giovanni. He said, I hope I'm wrong, but Bryce doesn't seem to have that chip on his shoulder or that dog in him that I've seen in Bronny from day one. Even when Bronny wasn't scoring, he played lockdown defense. That's how you know a player is fully invested in the game. Just watch how they play without the ball in their hands. Guys, I've also been saying this, and this is something I've also noticed with Bryce James as well. It kind of looks like he just goes through the motions. He doesn't understand where he's at the floor at some times, and he's kind of just going with the fluidity of the game, versus when you do look at a Bryce James, he does try to engage himself, especially on the defensive end. He wants to guard the best player. He's going to try to catch a body occasionally, but you kind of don't see that in a player like Bryce James. So that's definitely something that I've also noticed as well. Somebody said that he doesn't even start on the JV team. Guys, I'm praying to God that that is not real. Somebody said best of luck for Bryce, but he's playing JV as a sophomore, and please don't start with the M. Michael Jordan did too. Biggest difference is the athletic ability, skill set at their age. Guys, I'm trying to tell people the same thing. Trust me, I get he's a sophomore. Michael Jordan did this, but guys, they're two completely different human beings. Their lives are written completely different. Bryce, he could also go to the NBA. Nobody's saying that he can't, But like I said, there's gonna have to be a lot of work that he's gonna have to put in if he eventually wants to get to that point. Guys, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy basketball content like this. Make sure to join the free Discord where we've been talking about conversations like this. If you are sensitive though, do not join the channel. Guys, click this video right here if you guys want to see my top 5 point guards and shooting guards in high school overall, and also make sure to check out some of my other videos if you guys want to watch those as well. Comment down below, guys, how do you guys personally feel about Bryce James, and I'll see you guys on the next one.